Good morning, everyone. Vloggy Poncho here. Today is Tuesday, March 19th. I'm weighing in at 181 pounds. Goal progress is still same as usual. We're continuing through the month of purification. It's almost over, and I'm really excited about that. It's getting kind of lame now. I've sort of come to the conclusion that this month was a good idea, but in order to, what I really need is not just to entirely cut out all these things from my life. I just need to regulate them. I need to limit them. But having none of them doesn't seem like the right option either. Like never eating hot sauce again seems a little silly. So I need to figure out how I can limit my intake of those things. And basically make a behavioral change rather than have it be just, okay, just this 1 month I'm going to do this special rule, and you know, it's all about having a behavioral change. That's how you have a successful diet or anything else like that. So I'm also thinking about the fact that my weight has pretty much plateaued. I'm like stuck. I can't break through 180 pounds and get down to where I want to be in the like 170 range. So I definitely need to change something else there in my diet and try and remove some calories from my day. But again, I don't want it to be, you know, a 1 month thing where it's like, oh, okay, for the next month I'm not going to eat any cheese or whatever, just to cut the fat out of the diet. What I really need is a behavior change. I need some intelligent way to sort of convince myself and enforce on myself some new rule that will reduce the number of calories I eat and, you know, help me lose this weight that I'm trying to get rid of. Yeah, that's kind of complicated. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do to try and cut some more weight. Because the way things are right now, I'm exercising more than I used to, but it's irregular. It's infrequent. And I'm eating probably a little bit less than I used to still, but not a whole lot. So, and there's still room to go farther down and try and cut some more weight. And I think that exercising is really what's missing here. Is that I need to exercise more and then just avoid garbage food that's full of fat. And I think that alone will be enough. It's just a matter of getting used to consistently exercising is something that I've never done in my life. Now, I've never really had a regular workout routine that I managed to stick to. And I'm not really sure how to do that. One way or the other, I'm still trying it. So, man, lately I have been looking at apartments. I'm going to be living in Roswell, Georgia next year. Or coming up this summer once I graduate. That's where I'm going to be working. And it's a little bit weird trying to find an apartment. Because so far all I've done is I've run research online. So I've gone to the websites, looked at the floor plans, looked at what they're charging for rent. And in that regard, there are a couple of complexes that sort of stand out as being the best choices for me in terms of price and what the floor plan is, how big it is, all that stuff. Location especially is a big thing. And then I turn around and I look up reviews for these apartment complexes in Roswell, and it's sort of it's concerning because I read the reviews for these places and it seems like half of the reviews are really positive. This is the best apartment complex I've ever lived in. The staff is great. And the maintenance crew comes quickly when there's a problem, and I've never had anything stolen from me, and like my car didn't get keyed in the parking lot. I lived there for 10 years and loved it. And then the other half are like, this place is a dump. My apartment was full of roaches. My faucet leaked for 2 years and they never fixed it. The manager's a bitch, and just it's like, and these are 2 reviews for the same complex. It's like I don't know what to believe, and it's clear that some of the positive reviews are clearly fake. Like, clearly the staff or the manager or somebody has gone on the site and put up a fake review. Because some of the shit that they say is like straight out of a brochure from the apartment's advertising. It's like, life at, like, Lakeview Apartments is a world of its own. Nestled in the hills of... And it's like, well, nobody writes a review like that. No one talks like that. That's not what you're going to say when you want to go and do a review of your apartment complex. You're gonna get right to the brass tacks. You're not going to use some flowery language to try and make it sound all pretty. That's clearly a fake review. And then there's, on the other side, you got people who have clearly just been miffed, like at one opportunity. There was one guy who gave a review that was 1 star out of 5, and it was like, if I could leave a 0, I would. But his review was like 1 paragraph, and the only real complaint we had was that the manager was rude to him 1 time. It's like, that's not really, like, you're not really representing the apartment complex if you're gonna give it a 1 based on one person who was rude to you 1 time. Like, it doesn't represent your whole experience. So some of the reviews are just completely unbelievable on either end. You can't take what they say on faith. And then there's a bunch of people in the middle, and it's for some of those it's hard to tell if they're real or if they're not. And then how bad is it really? How good is it really? Like one guy listed as in his pros and cons. In his pros, he said, "Not very many roaches." And I'm like, okay, is it just the nature of apartment complexes that they're full of roaches? So, like, to the point where you list not very many roaches. Like, he didn't say no bugs. He just said not too many bugs. And that was a positive point. Because I have not had a single roach in my dorm room for 4 years. So for me, any roaches is a con. That's a bad thing. That's not cool. And, you know, there's some people in the same apartment complex, they would leave a review, and I hate roaches. So for me, this is sort of a stomach-turning point where it's like, I don't know if I want to live there. It's full of roaches. That's kind of nasty. In the same apartment complex, somebody leaves a review and says, you know, I lived there for 2 years and never saw a single roach. And then other people say, I use a can of Raid every month just to keep them at bay. And it's like, are you serious? I don't know what to believe, man. I'm reading all these reviews and everybody's contradicting everybody else, and I just, And so I'm at this point. I'm planning a trip to go up there and look at the model unit, and which everybody says is way better than the one you're going to be living in. So that's like the peak of what you could possibly expect from the complex. And then other people are saying that the managers are only nice to you right up until you sign your lease, and then they treat you like shit because they've already got your money on the hook. So I sort of have to go to these places, take everything with a grain of salt, and know that the unit they show me is going to be the nicest, and they're going to treat me the nicest that I'm ever going to see. And from there, it's downhill. So that's the expectation you have to have. And everybody tells me that you never get your $100 deposit back on the apartment. Like they always find some tiny thing that changed from why you live there. And they're like, oh, we gotta fix that. That's $100. I'm like, oh, this is apparently total shenanigans. So I'm a little bit stressed out about it because I've never had to do this before. I've never gone apartment shopping or anything like that. And picking a dorm is a mindless effort. Trying to choose an apartment complex has been an experience so far. But I'm still looking around, trying to find some good places to live. And really all I want is just a complex that's relatively quiet and isn't too... I mean, my standards aren't that high, to be honest. I just want a place that doesn't have like a huge pest problem, you know, where the management I can deal with them. If they're not that bad, it's fine. I'm not really going to have to talk to them very often. And then, you know, just relatively cheaper rent and a floor plan that's reasonable, and just, you know, space to live, basically. It's just a place to live for a few years. So, I mean, because all the leases are like, you know, 6 months, 11 months, 13 months, or whatever. So if you don't like it, you just move to another apartment complex in the city. But that would be a huge pain in the ass, and it would cost more money. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. That's what's going on in my life. So, if you guys have had any experiences apartment hunting, and you know things I should watch out for, or like things I should look for, questions to ask or whatever, tell me in the comments, because I would love to know. Because right now I'm kind of coming into this blind, and I'm asking my parents and I'm asking my friends for advice and information, trying to sort of gather all my resources together. If you guys know anything, let me know. I'd appreciate it. But I gotta go to class, so I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.